Hi, I'm April Winfield, and I'm here with Jeffrey Cook with First Attack Engineering. Today we're going to talk about him celebrating 20 years in business.
Man, it's great to be here, April. It seems like just yesterday we started this, but 20 years ago we actually started the company. Pretty crazy how time flies and how much fun we've had and the enjoyment of building brush trucks and helping fellow firefighters.
So what was your inspiration 20 years ago when you thought this was the business I'm going to start?
Well, sometimes I'm not sure, but we, in the mid-90s, the fire chief came to me. I was a volunteer on our local little fire department here. He came to me and said, with all this experience you got, can you build us a brush truck that's just, they'll get the job done? And I said, yeah, I think I'm up to that challenge. So we built the first one in the mid-90s. Never really planned on it being a business. My background was in the monster truck world and in the kind of the extreme off-road world. I grew up with anything and everything you can imagine off-road. That was part of my childhood, and so took some of those ideas and that expertise and put it into building a brush truck. Well, then that worked so well that all of our other departments around here were saying, man, you should be building these. And I didn't really plan on starting a business, but then in the late 90s, in 98 I think it was, we went to the FDIC show in Indianapolis and went down there looking for tankers for our fire department, and looked around and there really wasn't anybody building brush trucks. So of course that got my mind thinking, and I come home and started doing some sketching and drawing, and next thing you know, we built the first truck. It sold real quick, and then from there on, we started getting some orders off and on and just started building trucks.
So Jeffrey, you told us a little bit about your history as a firefighter, off-road experience. What else brings you to this point?
Well, the firefighting side, I spent a little over 16 years as a volunteer on our department. Was in most officer positions. I never made it to chief, but I was up to the assistant chief position. And then later on got kind of put into a township board member position, and have been on the township board for many years. Actually served 2 terms as the township trustee, so that gives me a lot of understanding of how the fire service works. Everything from the management side right down to the the firefighting aspect. And then in the monster truck world, that's where I began, was in the monster truck world, and actually been around that for many years. Started out in the early 90s in the monster truck world, and have driven probably over a dozen monster trucks. I've been a hired driver. I've been my own owner driver. Actually the Monster Truck Hall of Fame president. So I've been around that industry for a long time, and it's kind of neat that I've been able to use a lot of those aspects and put them into firefighting, because we know kind of what needs to be done, and we was the first guys to build a brush truck that had jump seats on the sides, a safety jump seat, and we've took that kind of to the next level. In the early days of that, the NFPA and a lot of companies really knocked me and said that was a horrible idea and dangerous, and now the NFPA actually is one of their requirements. So that's kind of funny how things change over time. That's kind of how it is with a lot of different innovations. Things start out and it's always a negative thing, and then someday people wake up and go, wow, this is a good idea. So, through the years we've had a lot of experience with a lot of that stuff. In the fire industry, it's interesting because there's an awful lot of guys selling fire trucks that don't know which end of the hose the water comes out of. So it's and then there's a lot of guys building off-road trucks too, that their only off-road experience they have is maybe on their lawnmower in their backyard. So it's kind of ironic that they're experts, but it's all fun and it's all good.
So 20 years in, challenges, adversities, what have you faced over this time?
Well, we learned a lot. Being from the firefighting side of things, firefighting is a brotherhood. I mean, you can go anywhere in the country, walk into a fire station, and you're another brother. I mean, it's a lot of fun. You go into any fire station and everybody accepts you. You start telling stories. Everybody has a great time, and everybody likes to show off their fire trucks. So going into this, we thought that's kind of how everything was, but we found out pretty early on that in the firefighting industry itself that provides the equipment and everything, there is no brotherhood. That's a cutthroat deal. Everybody's trying to one up the next guy. So, you know, we learned that. That was a real challenge. 9 years into our adventure here, many of the fans and many of our historians that are watching this will remember that we started out as wildfire manufacturing. 9 years into our adventure, we basically had our name taken from us legally by a huge corporation in the fire industry that decided that they wanted to market product with the wildfire name. So, you know, that was a big challenge is, you know, you go 9 years in your company and then all of a sudden you lose your company name and you can't afford to fight the big guy. So, you know, that brings up a lot of red flags. People think that, you know, you're having some sort of troubles, that you're going to probably, you know, go belly up or something. But we survived through that, and actually I think it was good for us. We learned a lot. We learned that a lot of these companies, they don't care that we exist. They want to run over us. So it was, you know, that was a big challenge for us, but we came back bigger and better and stronger with First Attack Engineering. And I think the name is better for us anyways, because we're usually the first to get there and fight the fire at the brush fires. So, you know, it's kind of like we're the first on the attack.
What sets your company apart from any other in the fire industry?
I would say probably a lot of the experience. You know, we've got a lot of firefighting background, a lot of experience in the off-road world, a lot of truck experience. We are truck people. I've grown up with trucks. I've probably built more trucks on my personal life than most guys have ever thought of owning. You know, we've been around trucks our whole life, so we understand them, and we are problem solvers. When guys call us and they want, you know, something different or unique, we're able to put our twist to it to make it happen.
And so if I were to call First Attack Engineering, who would answer the phone?
Well, typically either Chelsea that works for us in the office, or my wife, or myself. And typically, you know, I talk with every customer when it comes down to it. You know, we solve the problems and we talk to the customer directly. That's, you know, we're not too big to talk to the customer. That's our livelihood. We love talking to the firefighters and seeing what they need, and that's, you know, we love helping the firefighters.
Jeffrey, where do you see First Attack going in the future?
Well, you know, we're pretty excited. This year we've got a couple tankers in the works. You know, we built brush trucks and we built some light rescue stuff, you know, for the first 20 years. Never really planned on getting into the full-size fire trucks, but I've had some customers that said, you know, we have to have you build us a truck. We know that you'll do a good job. We know that your company is solid. You'll have, you know, a better truck for us than a lot of companies. So we're working on that. We've got a couple trucks in the works. We've got a refurbished tanker we're working on. We're putting a whole new body on the back, new tank. That one's just about finished. We've got a brand new tanker on order that we're getting ready to have start working on. And then we're gonna probably get into the line of building more larger fire trucks. It's pretty exciting. You know, we thought we'd always stay in the brush truck market, but the brush truck market's really getting saturated now. When I started 20 years ago, there might have been 20 companies building brush trucks, and now there's probably 200 of them. You know, everybody's instantly an off-road firefighting expert, and so you just kind of, you know, you have to go with the flow, but it's exciting for us to see the growth and to get into these bigger trucks. You know, I've always been a truck guy. I love trucks. Ever since I was a little kid, I wanted to have big trucks. So, you know, the bigger, the better.